Table 9.3 Fatty acid composition of commonly consumed nuts and seeds. Grams per 1 ounce serving. Nutter seed. Flax seeds. SFA 1.0, MUFA 2.1, PUFA 8.0, PUFA percentage 7.2, total omega-6 1.7, total omega-3 6.4, omega-6 to 3 ratio 0.27. Chia seeds. SFA 0.9, MUFA 0.6, PUFA 6.5, PUFA percentage 81%, total omega-6 1.6, total omega-3 4.9, omega-6 to 3 ratio 0.33. Walnuts. SFA 1.7, MUFA 2.5, PUFA 13.3, PUFA percentage 76%, total omega-6 10.8, total omega-3 2.6, omega-6 to 3 ratio 4.2. Macadamias. SFA 3.4, MUFA 16.6, PUFA 0.4, PUFA percentage 2%, total omega-6 0.37, total omega-3 0.058, omega-6 to 3 ratio 6.4. Pecans. SFA 1.7, MUFA 11.5, PUFA 6.1, PUFA percentage 32%, total omega-6 5.8, total omega-3 0.28, omega-6 to 3 ratio 20.7. Pistachios. SFA 1.5, MUFA 6.5, PUFA 3.8, PUFA percentage 32%, total omega-6 3.7, total omega-3 0.072, omega-6 to 3 ratio 51.4. Sesame seeds. SFA 1.9, MUFA 5.3, PUFA 6.1, PUFA percentage 46%, total omega-6 6.0, total omega-3 0.10, omega-6 to 3 ratio 60. Hazelnuts. SFA 1.3, MUFA 12.8, PUFA 2.2, PUFA percentage 33%, total omega-6 2.2, total omega-3 0.025, omega-6 to 3 ratio 88. Pumpkin seeds. SFA 2.5, MUFA 4.0, PUFA 5.9, PUFA percentage 48%, total omega-6 5.8, total omega-3 0.051, omega-6 to 3 ratio 113.7. Pine nuts. SFA 1.4, MUFA 5.3, PUFA 9.6, PUFA percentage 59%, total omega-6 9.5, total omega-3 0.032, omega-6 to 3 ratio 297. Sunflower seeds. SFA 1.2, MUFA 5.2, PUFA 6.5, PUFA percentage 50%, total omega-6 6.5, total omega-3 0.021, omega-6 to 3 ratio 309.5. Nutter seed. Brazil nuts 4.3, SFA, MUFA 6.9, PUFA 5.8, PUFA percentage 34%. Total omega-6 5.8. Total omega-3 0.005. Omega-6 to 3 ratio 1160. Almonds SFA 1.0. MUFA 8.6. PUFA 3.4. PUFA percentage 26%. Total omega-6 3.4. Total omega-3 0.002. Omega-6 to 3 ratio 1700. Peanuts SFA 1.9. MUFA 6.8. PUFA 4.4. PUFA percentage 34%. Total omega-6 4.4. Total omega-3 0.0008. Omega-6 to 3 ratio 5500. Common oils. Some oils are better than others. Table 9.4 shows the omega-6 to 3 ratios of common oils, but please note that this isn't the whole story. Olive oil and coconut oil, for example, have properties that are great for you besides just their 6 to 3 status. And flaxseed oil is better for you than canola oil, even though canola oil has the best 6 to 3 ratio on this chart. This table offers a range of oils high in ALA. Table 9.5 in turn offers some good dietary sources of ALA. The benefits of flaxseed. The long-chain marine omega-3 fats EPA and DHA are the most potent for inducing the beneficial cardiometabolic effects that omega-3s are known for. But remember that the parent omega-3 alpha-linoleic acid also has plenty to offer. Consuming flax seeds has consistently been found to reduce inflammation and platelet aggregation, clotting. In people with elevated cholesterol, ALA has been shown to decrease C-reactive protein, that key marker of inflammation. Researchers attribute the reduction in inflammation seen from consuming more ALA to increases in EPA and DHA in the blood through conversion. Now, as we've discussed, most people don't make that conversion very effectively, but this goes to show that if you supplement with ALA, you'll still end up with some DHA and EPA. In a different study, obese subjects given 30 grams of flaxseed meal a day, providing 5 grams of ALA, for 2 weeks had significant reductions in inflammation compared to those given a placebo. Flaxseed meal has been shown to reduce triglycerides and improve the ratio of total cholesterol to HDL in patients with elevated cholesterol. Flax seeds have shown beneficial effects in clinical studies on other risk factors associated with cardiovascular disease. They improve insulin sensitivity, lower triglyceride levels, and reduce small dense LDL particles. They've also been shown to protect against some of the harmful effects of consuming a high amount of trans fats. Not bad for something you can grind fresh and sprinkle on yogurt or cottage cheese or put into a smoothie. Just like fish oil, flax seeds are polyunsaturated and thus highly susceptible to oxidation and rancidity. It's best to purchase whole flax seeds and grind them fresh right before consuming. A coffee grinder or spice grinder is a perfect tool for this. Store your seeds or any unused grounds away from heat and light. Refrigeration is ideal. You can also soak the flax seeds overnight and put them in your smoothie in the morning. We do not recommend the use of flax oil as it is processed and therefore highly susceptible to oxidative damage and going rancid. In case you're curious, brown flax seeds have slightly more ALA than golden flax seeds do, but the difference is fairly minor, so use whichever you prefer. They both have a very pleasant nutty flavor. Flax seeds are an extremely rich source of ALA, but if you don't like flax, you can get ALA from eggs that come from hens whose feed includes flax seeds. ALA-enriched eggs have 5 times more ALA than conventional eggs. Walnuts also contain ALA, but they're far higher in total omega-6 than omega-3, so don't rely on walnuts as your main source of ALA. Potential benefits of flaxseed: decreased blood pressure, decreased inflammation, decreased blood clotting, reduced atherosclerosis, decreased small dense LDL, triglycerides, and total cholesterol HDL ratio. Dose of ALA to reduce inflammation: 5 to 10 grams per day from flaxseed or ALA-enriched foods. The grass-fed difference. As we mentioned throughout the book, seafood isn't the only source of DHA EPA. It's the most concentrated source, so consuming seafood is a convenient way to get a substantial amount of these crucial fats. But if you're allergic to fish or shellfish, or you simply don't enjoy the flavor, you can get ALA but very little EPA and DHA from land-based animals. Meat from grain-fed cattle contains a small amount of omega-3, but meat from grass-fed animals will give you more, particularly the omega-3 ALA. According to researchers who've studied the differences in the fat composition of meat from grass-fed and grain-fed cattle, when grain is added to a grass diet, the concentration of omega-3s in the meat decreases. Not only does it decrease, but the relationship is linear. The more grain a steer consumes, the lower the omega-3 in its meat. Compared to meat from grain-fed animals, meat from grass-fed animals consistently contains from 2 to 11 times more ALA, 2 to 5 times more EPA, and approximately twice as much DHA. Moreover, the higher amount of omega-3 in grass-fed animals comes without any significant increase in omega-6, so meat from grass-fed cattle has a more favorable omega-6 to 3 ratio. In meat from grass-fed animals, the omega-6 to 3 ratio is an ideal 2 to 1. Compare that to meat from grain-fed animals, where the ratio can be as high as 13 to 1. Most of the lamb, goat, and bison produced in the U.S. are still raised on pasture, so looking specifically for grass-fed meats is far more important when you're selecting beef. Your best bet for finding meat that was grass-fed and grass-finished is to find a farmer in your area raising his or her animals on pasture, but grass-fed meats are increasingly available in supermarkets across the U.S. The American Grass-Fed Association is the best certification out there to confirm compliance with these standards, so look for their seal. Conjugated linoleic acid, CLA. Apart from the increased omega-3 content, grass-fed beef provides another distinct advantage over grain-fed beef in the form of special fats collectively called CLA. CLA is short for conjugated linoleic acid, is a trans fat, but unlike the harmful trans fat produced from the partial hydrogenation of vegetable and seed oils, this naturally occurring trans fat has been shown to be beneficial for health. CLA improves blood lipids and insulin sensitivity, stimulates bone mineralization, and also has anti-clotting, anti-atherosclerotic, and anti-cancer effects. Researchers have written over the past 2 decades numerous studies that have shown significant health benefits attributable to the actions of CLA, as demonstrated by experimental animal models, including actions to reduce carcinogenesis, atherosclerosis, and onset of diabetes. Conjugated linoleic acid has been reported to modulate body composition by reducing the accumulation of adipose tissue in a variety of species, including mice, rats, pigs, and now humans. Perhaps the near disappearance of CLA from the modern Western diet is a contributing factor to the obesity epidemic and the explosion in chronic diseases during the past several decades. CLA is produced via bacterial fermentation in the digestive tract of ruminant animals such as cows, goats, sheep, and bison, and it becomes concentrated in the meat and dairy products produced from these animals. Pigs, chickens, and turkeys may also contain small amounts of CLA. In the era of industrial feedlots, beef and dairy cattle have been removed from the grassy pastures that would have them producing far more CLA in their meat and milk than animals consuming most of their feed as grain. More CLA is another reason besides increased omega-3s to favor meat and dairy from grass-fed animals. And the good news is that you don't have to eat meat to get your CLA. You can easily get it from pastured butter. Milk from grass-fed cows contains as much as 500% more CLA than milk from grain-fed cows. The total amount of CLA, even in grass-fed meat, is low. Beef fat contains just 1.7 to 10.8 milligrams of CLA per gram of fat, but don't dismiss the importance of even just a small amount. Remember what we said about vitamins and minerals. These are compounds your body needs in only minuscule amounts, but the consequences of not getting those tiny amounts can be devastating. Evidence supports a beneficial role for CLA in reducing body fat and supporting the maintenance of lean muscle tissue. Because remember, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to lose fat, not muscle or other lean tissue. Studies show that this can be achieved even in the absence of alterations in diet and physical activity levels, meaning that CLA may help you lose fat even without changing your diet or exercise habits. We weren't kidding when we said fats send important signals to your body, to your cells. CLA has been shown to reduce the synthesis of new body fat and to increase your body's capacity to burn fat. As we've discussed, fats are converted to energy in your mitochondria. There's an enzyme called carnitine palmitoyltransferase 1, CPT1, that helps transport fats into your mitochondria, and CLA increases the activity of this enzyme while decreasing the activity of enzymes involved in telling your body to generate and store fat. Optimal dietary intake of CLA has been estimated to be as low as 95 milligrams per day and as high as 3,000 milligrams per day. Considering that most Americans consume only around 150 to 200 milligrams of CLA a day, you're likely near the low end of the range, especially if you don't regularly consume meat or dairy products from grass-fed animals. We recommend 500 to 1,000 milligrams of CLA daily, which is closer to the amount humans likely consumed during Paleolithic times. Grass-fed beef benefits beyond the fats. Moving beyond fats, it might surprise you to learn that the beef is a rich source of vitamins and minerals. You're probably accustomed to automatically picturing brightly colored fruits and vegetables when you think about these essential nutrients, but beef is loaded with B vitamins, iron, zinc, selenium, and more. If you've ever bought grass-fed beef, you might have noticed that the fat has a distinct yellow appearance. This is due to its beta-carotene content. That's right. The same beta-carotene responsible for the orange pigments in carrots and sweet potatoes shows itself in the fat of grass-fed animals. Green grasses contain beta-carotene, and because cattle consume grass in such large quantities, the pigment becomes concentrated in their fat. You'll also notice a stark difference in color if you compare butter from exclusively grass-fed dairy cows and that from grain-fed animals. Be sure to read labels, though, because some manufacturers add synthetic coloring to their butter, especially to margarine and other vegetable oil spreads, specifically for the purpose of mimicking the color of authentic butter from grass-fed cows. Don't let them deceive you. Buy the real thing. Meat from grass-fed animals contains as much as 7 times more beta-carotene than meat from grain-fed animals. Beta-carotene is a precursor to vitamin A, which is crucial for your eye health and visual acuity, bone health, reproductive function, respiratory system, and more. Vitamin A is required for the production and function of white blood cells and helps maintain the integrity of your skin as well as that of your small intestine. These are among your body's first-line defenses against toxins and pathogenic organisms, so having enough beta-carotene and vitamin A may help contribute to a robust immune system. In your grandparents' day, everyone took a spoonful of vitamin A-rich cod liver oil daily in order to ward off colds and other illnesses. Buy meat, cheese, yogurt, and other dairy products sourced from grass-fed animals whenever possible. Another nutrient available from beef is vitamin E, and grass-fed meat contains between 2 and 10 times as much vitamin E as grain-fed meat. Vitamin E is a key antioxidant that may help to prevent oxidation of the beef fat itself and also may contribute to your body's antioxidant pool to protect against oxidative damage to the fats in your body. Have you ever noticed that if meat sits around for a little while, it changes color? Fresh beef is a bright, vibrant red, but beef that's not as fresh, like you might see marked down for quick sale at the store, looks brown. We recommend avoiding beef that has turned brown, as this indicates oxidative deterioration of one of the proteins and contributes to the red color. Grass-fed meat retains its bright red color longer than grain-fed meat, which may be due to its higher vitamin E content, lending protection against oxidation. Meat from grass-fed animals contains other important antioxidants as well. Remember glutathione, the master antioxidant, is found in every cell in your body, and it's a primary player in how your liver neutralizes toxic compounds. Beyond its role in detoxification, glutathione is a powerful scavenger of the free radicals that cause oxidative damage to your DNA and the structural fats and other components of your tissues. Meat and vegetables contain high amounts of glutathione, and since lush green forages are high in glutathione, meat from animals raised on pasture is higher in glutathione than that from grain-fed animals. Grass-fed meats are also higher in two other free radical neutralizing antioxidants called superoxide dismutase and catalase. Just like with vitamin E, the higher concentration of antioxidant enzymes in grass-fed meat helps to protect the fats in the meat from oxidizing during exposure to air as well as during cooking. So just as grass-fed meat is rich in fragile omega-3 fats, it also contains higher levels of antioxidants that help protect these fats. The benefits of grass-fed over grain-fed meat: higher concentration of omega-3s in the form of ALA, lower concentration of omega-6, lower omega-6 to 3 ratio, higher concentration of transvasanic acid, higher concentration of CLA, higher in precursors for vitamins A and E, higher in antioxidants such as glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase, lower amounts of transoleic fat, less fat oxidation. Putting it all together, tips to stay healthy. Consume seafood. By far the most efficient and effective way to increase your consumption of omega-3s, particularly EPA and DHA, is to eat more food from the sea. Whenever possible, purchase wild-caught seafood harvested from clean waters and limit your consumption of farm-raised seafood, as it's likely higher in harmful contaminants. As mentioned earlier, compared to wild-caught fish, farm fish contain less omega-3 and more omega-6 due to the feed they're given. Be aware that some farm salmon use healthy marine feed, and if you decide to buy farm salmon, look for quality farm salmon with a documented level of EPA and DHA that has not been given any antibiotics. Less of the good stuff and more of the bad stuff, not the way you want to go for your health. Consume foods from pastured animals. Choose meat, butter, cheese, eggs, milk, and other foods from animals raised on organic pastures. This will give you more of the crucial omega-3s and CLA while also providing more beta-carotene and other vitamins and minerals. Inquire with local farmers in your area about their animal husbandry practices. Many small farms raise animals humanely on pasture, free from pesticides and genetically modified grasses, but they're not certified organic. The paperwork required to obtain organic certification may be prohibitively burdensome for a small family farm, even though their practices are in line with or even better than official organic standards. For other ways to get omega-3 fats, consider purchasing eggs from hens raised on pasture. They provide as much as 10 times more omega-3 than conventional eggs, and they're also higher in vitamins D, B12, and folic acid. But remember, all these nutrients are in the yolk, so don't be afraid to enjoy whole eggs. No more egg white omelets. Cook meat and eggs at a low to medium temperature to ensure you minimize the oxidation of the fats and cholesterol in these foods. While we generally recommend against reheating in a microwave simply because it increases the chance of oxidation, we understand that leftovers are an important part of anyone's diet. Just be sure to use a low power setting, 50% power or less, to heat foods and beverages that contain fat and cholesterol. Regarding other animal foods, the linoleic acid content of chicken fat is 13.5%, while pork is 8% compared to just 2.7% for beef. Pork fat is predominantly saturated and monounsaturated, so the total amount of polyunsaturated fat is low, but of that amount there's far more omega-6 than omega-3. The same goes for chicken. Chicken fat is mostly monounsaturated, but it has a substantial amount of polyunsaturated fat, and that portion is high in omega-6. Of course, free-range chicken that have access to green grasses as well as grubs and worms in addition to organic grain have a better nutrient profile than chickens raised in massive indoor confinement operations and fed genetically modified grains. Pigs allowed to forage in wooded areas may have an improved nutrient profile compared to feedlot pigs. Choose organic non-CAFO concentrated animal feeding operation, chicken and pork whenever possible, or buy lean meats and add olive oil or avocado oil for flavor. Consume nuts and seeds in moderation. Choose organic nuts and seeds, and if you prefer roasted instead of raw, purchase nuts and seeds that may have been roasted without any industrial seed oils. Many popular brands of nuts are roasted with soybean or cottonseed oils. If you enjoy flavored or seasoned varieties, avoid honey roasted nuts, which are typically made with sugar and corn syrup. Read labels and stick with versions where you can pronounce and understand the ingredients. Cumin, cayenne, turmeric, or cocoa powder, for example. If you have insulin resistance or a related cardiometabolic issue, we advise limiting consumption of high omega-6 nuts and seeds such as walnuts, pine nuts, sunflower, and pumpkin seeds, as these may contribute to higher insulin levels. Add flaxseed to your food. Avoid consuming flax oil, which is highly susceptible to oxidation and does not appear to provide the same health benefits as freshly ground flax seeds. Instead, we suggest adding 1 to 3 tablespoons of flaxseed to your diet, either by soaking them overnight or by grinding them fresh. This is particularly necessary if your intake of ALA from other sources, such as leafy greens, is low. Freshly ground flax can be added to yogurt, cottage cheese, smoothies, or oatmeal for a convenient omega-3 boost. Avoid trans fats and industrial seed oils. Industrial seed oils are hidden in almost all processed foods, from baked goods to condiments, and even in places where you never expect them to be lurking, such as in breadcrumbs. Foods typically high in trans fats and seed oils include salad dressings, cake, frostings, mayonnaise, fried foods, margarine, and vegetable shortening, pastries, peanut butter, crackers, and processed snacks such as potato chips. Read labels. You'll be stunned at the unexpected places these oils pop up. You probably gathered by now that the superfuel way of eating is a little different from how you might be accustomed to thinking about food. You might find yourself spending a bit more time cooking than calling for takeout or picking something up from the prepared hot foods bar at the supermarket. You may also spend a little more time at the store reading labels and looking for those sneaky seed oils. Pretty soon, though, choosing the right foods will be second nature, and you won't even need to think about it. It won't be long before you're an expert, and your shopping and food preparation will be as quick and easy as they've always been. Your health is worth it. It's a small investment of time and effort that will pay enormous dividends for your long-term health and quality of life.